So we have this Richmond one machine like we talked about a bit like in the lecture. This machine is only one model, and well, you could be able to like produce like up to like 100 servings of fresh noodles from scratch in an hour. In that example, like we had like just 91 servings per hour, but like really, it all depends on like your portion size, hydration ratio. So you have to do the calculation. See, and then we have like all these cutters, splitters we talked about right in the class. Um, the different sizes. See the like size of the grooves, and this one has a the parts on the back of the cutter. This is the parts like to make curly like wavy noodles, and we'll show you guys later how we do it. And and these are like thicker noodles for thicker noodles. Um, There's like some tsukemen noodles, dipping noodles, and it's like round shaped noodles. Like so, this is maybe used for like some spaghetti. Then that one is like a reverse cut noodles, like has like deeper grooves for reverse cut noodles. And then for the people who don't know what it is, like you can watch our previous class on Ieke ramen. Okay, and so we have some ingredients here, and right flour, and and it's a flour like wheat flour that we talked about, and that's yeah, and then like whole egg. This is the egg, but in powder form, and we use these kind of things like for certain types of noodles, and it's the currency that we talked about like salt and then the water, right? So these are all the ingredients that we use, and so she's putting that flour. So one of the solid ingredients we talked about in cost calculation, right? And so that whole egg powder is always like a solid ingredient. So she's putting in there first. So this mixer is 10 kilograms mixer, which means that you can mix up to 10 kilograms of solid ingredients, right? But the minimum batch, right? The minimum batch is like four. Minimum batch is 4 kilograms. So that's like equivalent. That would be like equivalent of like maybe like 30 to like 40 portions, 40 servings of fresh noodles. So that's the small production batch. That's a small production batch like we were talking about, right? So if you have a customer, who just need like just 40 portions, right? 40 servings of like kind of unique noodles, unique craft noodles, then you can definitely cater to this particular customer. So that's the kind of part of like flexibility that we are talking about in this kind of business, this micro noodle factory business. So what she did was like she dissolved like all the calcium and salt in the water, and so she's adding this liquid into the flour, and what like as you can see like she's adding this liquid like directly onto the lid, which has like these small holes, right? And so that liquid is like dipping through the holes, right, a little by little, to hydrate the flour a little by little while it's mixed. And so this definitely like for good hydration of the dough, and so which is like the most important. I mean that which is the part actually the purpose of mixing. Good hydration of dough. So we're mixing it, right? And this is yeah, and then like we she prepare the dough in advance, like because we don't want to keep watching the dough like be mixed, and so she's going to do the next process in the so what she's doing now is that she's feeding this dough. It's like crumbles dough into the set of rollers, clearance with rollers. That's set to like 1.5 millimeter thickness. So it's very small, narrow gap, right? And then so what we're doing like is like making sheet of dough through these rollers. So sheet of dough is coming out from the other side of the machine, and like she's winding it onto the rolling pin, right? And then this rolling pin is like put against the rollers. That's was like moving, rotate, and then so that after she puts this rolling pin against the roller, like this front roller, the rolling pin just like winds by itself, like automatically, right? So she wouldn't have like you know rotate, like wind it. So she's doing now like she just keeps feeding the dough into the rollers. Then the machine just keeps making this sheet of dough. So as you maybe like notice, it's like she's making dough right inside the mixer right now. Like so she was using the mixer, and she's now and at the same time she's making sheet of dough, right? So you can do the rolling process. You can use like a roller unit, and a mixer unit like simultaneously. So that boosts the productivity, and if you get like orders like multiple orders, like kind of small batches like noodles, and then you know you can just work on them like at the same time. So we now have like rough sheet of dough, right? And then but this like dough is like very pretty still like fragile. So we need to make it firm by what she's doing now, like kind of separating this sheet of dough into two, like two rolls of dough, right? Two separate rolls of dough, like but like the same dough, but like separate them, right? And then into two, right? And then compound them into like one sheet of dough again through the rollers. This way, we can make the dough firm. So you just have to like make it even, right? Make it even like just double the those sheets into one. So if the other if like one of the sheets like is longer, you just like fold it to make it even. And so now another like we want to make sure that like gluten inside those like fully developed by or the like, combining process again like for the second time. And so this series of process like making well mixing and rough forming I mean making like rough sheet of dough and then the combining processes, um, this completes the sort of like the noodle texture of the dough. So after this process like we consider the dough or like gluten structure inside dough is like fully developed. So all we have to do is just thin it to the final thickness and cut it. And yeah, so like maybe you'll like notice that like how much space actually we're using, right, for operation, right? Um, we showed like the sample flow plan like using this machine, lecture, but like look at like how much space like we need, like in how small the space we need, for operation. That's it's pretty small. Like we may need like for probably more space like for we want to have like refrigerator, freezer, and like maybe like some like sink, right? Um, water supplies and what But other than that, like look at how much space, right? How small a space we need like just for noodle making operation. And so like after second combined process, you just want to thin it. Just want to thin it, right? And from this point on, we want to dust it. We want to dust the dough, dust the dough sheet to keep it from sticking. And so like we just thinning it to the final thickness like before we cut it. And the roller gap like we set previously was like 2 millimeter, and we're now going for 1.5 millimeter in thickness. Okay, and so I think the next round we can cut it, but like so this is the process right before we cut it, before we like cutting in the noodles, and she prepared actually like different types of dough over there, right? And then so different ingredients, using different ingredients, and yeah, and it's like this to show like sort of like kind of like like flexibility of this micro noodle factory business, and it's like you can like make all these like dough like in advance, right? Like let's say like you have like customers like repeating customers, right? And then who like just keep ordering like the same type of noodles, right? And then but you don't know like if the customer is coming today, but like let's say like you have like multiple customers like who order like same type of noodles, and so you can make them advanced, right? And then you know in this kind of form, and then you can just cut maybe like few portions out of these dough, right? And then just just sell them like on demand. So that's what we can do, right? So that's the flexibility of this micro factory business as well. And so she measured the actual thickness of the dough now, and it's like that's like 2 millimeter. Like after it's going to like 1.5 millimeter. So there's a difference of 0.5 millimeter between the actual thickness and then the roller gap, right? So you have to measure it. This is one of the measuring devices that we talked about in the class, right? That's the what we call a caliper, and yes, to kind of like precisely measure the thickness of dough, um, so that the final product that we're going to have is going to have exactly the same size over and over. I mean, depending on the temperature and condition of the ingredients that we get, right? Um, like moisture level is different, so that like this discrepancy, right, between the actual thickness and then the roller gap be different, right, from day to day. So before you cut it, you might want to measure the actual thickness to get the exact same noodle size. And well, we're not really showing it today, but like usually we also measure the weight of like one portion of the noodles. Because like that's also important too, right? And then naturally, and then so this weight is in this machine is determined by the length of the noodles, the length of the noodles, and so you can change the length at the touch of the volume with ease. So, like making shorter to have like smaller portion size, right? And then longer to have, well, of course, like bigger portion size. It's shorter, which means like it's smaller portion size. And now we have like longer noodles for bigger portion size. So it's really up to you to like kind of have, proper portion size for your customers, and because it's low cost, and ingredients is like usually like well, costly a little, so you might want to make it a little bit longer than the competitors to, well, have like bigger portion for your noodles, I mean for your customers, and well, that may reflect like some kind of like value, higher value in your product and your offerings. But like you probably charge like at the same price, right? So this is like kind of like the whole operation of the noodle making. Uh, this ramen machine, and of course like we have like other types of machine like udon machines and like soba machines. But we'll show you guys how these machines work like probably in some other class, and you can also like check out some of the videos we have like on our YouTube channel, to see like how each of these machines works. And we want to show you some of the dough like she made in advance, right? And this one, like she made like from with the spinach powder, right? And then so what she did was like she made this dough, right? Like up to like second combining process, and so she put the plastic bag like around it to keep it from drying, right? And so this is something we call second resting process. Second resting process, like to develop like gluten inside dough, right? And so for certain types of noodles, and then like to make like better quality noodles, like we sometimes apply this like second resting process in the dough, and of course you can thin it to the thickness like before you cut it, before you can cut it. But like in this particular dough, like she just did up to like second combined process. So like so she's sheeting it a bit. So she's cutting it, but like again, like she has to measure the actual thickness right first, and then it's like 2.1 ish, and so the difference is like about like 0.6 millimeter in thickness. So taking this difference right in thickness, you need to adjust the roller gap to how much you need to thin it to make sure that you get the final thickness right. So let's make like a few servings and move on to like other dough, the noodles, other types of noodles. Just cut a few. Well, yeah, I wish you guys are here because like we are like smelling the spinach from this dough, and it's a very good smell, and I wish you guys were here to be able to like smell it. It's a very good smell. And so this particular setup, like the cutter that she's using, like so she's using this the same cutter we use, like number 20, which is like 1.5 millimeter in width. But like what she did was like she put the parts in the back of the cutter, right, to make them curly, right? And these are very, very curly, and you can actually adjust the curliness, just the curliness of the noodles as well, and by adjusting the position of the parts you put on the back of the cutter. So let's say like you have get an order, right? You get an order, say like well 8 servings of these particular noodles, right? And so you just took the dough and made like just 8 servings, right, of these noodles, right? And so then like put it away, put it back in a plastic bag and put it away, right? And so let's see, so this noodle next. This is so the next. Oh, sorry. So this is a dough like she needed a beets powder into. So we've done like noodles like with beets before, but like you can probably definitely like do So, yeah, but like what I was gonna say is like like you can definitely like find some ingredients you can source like ingredients locally. If like your customers, there's a particular certain group of customers like who like certain ingredients that can be sourced locally. You can definitely use that. And if that's like certain types of some kind of vegetables, um, for example, like kind of like leafy vegetable or something, and you maybe like kind of like well make it into juice in the blender and mix it in the noodles like in the mixing process. And that's one of the main things that you could do with the noodles. So basically, like making dough, and then needing like some like local ingredients that your customers love, and then um, so that's like one of the things that you can do like to appeal to your local customers. And again, like she's measuring the actual thickness, which is like 2 millimeter. So like again, like there's a difference of like 0.5 millimeter. So she needs to make adjustment on the indicator. And actually, this indicator is like one of the measurement devices that I was talking about in the lecture. And then so this indicator like kind of actually well measures the or just adjusts the like roller gap, right? I mean the clearance like between the rollers, um, and 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 of course like we talk about like calibration, so that sometimes like from time to time like you need to like make sure that it's calibrated, so that the measuring is precise. So she's using this round cutter, like round cutter number 16 round cutter, which is about like 2 millimeter in width. Round cutter, and the shape of this cutter is like more like more like more like oval than round. But this type of cutter is like used for certain types of like ramen noodles, and of course certain types of pasta as well. Typically used for, yes. And so she's cutting. Okay, all right, so it's coming out. And unlike the previous batch, like this is the straight noodles. Okay, it's cut a few, and um, maybe I think you guys get an idea, right, of like how you can operate. So we could just stop the demo here. Okay, and so that's how you sort of like operate, the machine, and like maybe like how you could operate like as a micro noodle factory, um, by like having like all these like different types of dough prepared in advance. Like if you have like a repeating customers, like who like always order like certain types of noodles, and you could have like certain like variety options for your customers, and you could like probably like promote like sometimes pasta, like some new pasta like on your Instagram, like or website and other things. So what we want to show you is that like so if you are it's like operating a restaurant and like kind of making noodles like for your own consumption, what we use is like, we use like this kind of plastic containers, like resin, like these containers like made of resin, and then it's a sanitary wise, like it's very good. And then so we just wanted to show like some of the this is the dumpling skins that we made on this machine. And so like we have like so it's a drum, dumpling drum, right? And for those like who want to know like how this drum is used, please watch our previous class that we did on like gyoza dumpling. And we're showing like how this drum is used in the class. And this stuff, yeah, the cutter, mold cutter, and this comes in like different sizes, different diameters. And so usually like we have this container, right? And then we lay this kind of like water absorbing like kind of paper, kitchen towel, paper towel, and on the bottom, right? And then put another like at the top, right? And so these are like some pasta that we made, the pasta and the curry noodle, right? And but like with some like whole wheat needed in them, and these like low hydration rate noodles. And this is the kind of flat noodles that like we made like in the spinach needed noodles. Okay, and in case of sort of like wholesale business that you may want to do, right? So you could probably use this kind of like carton board like kind of container that this is actually our sister company like just talked about a little bit like at the beginning of the class. And so we stole a few from them, these boxes. And so you could again like put this paper at the bottom, right, and then on the top. And then like this is like a low hydration noodle, right? And these noodles need to be like refrigerated. These are refrigerated, and as long as you have like some ingredients like tansui, then they should keep like for at least for 1 week. But like I have to say that like over time, right? Over time, like in the refrigerator, like the noodle texture, condition of noodles like kind of change over time. Um, but but their quality like kind of peak at the fifth, maybe like third, fourth, like fifth day, and then they're gonna like kind of start going down. So from that point on, so and for the retail, right, or direct consumer market, um, again, like we stole like a few of their products from our sister company, Sanshio, and just to show you guys examples. So it's just a package, like kind of plastic bag package, like and kind of heat sealed, right? And then yeah, they like have like in Japan, like it's very simple, just have to have like kind of well, sure, like this is a kind of medium thickness. I mean, this is a medium thickness, yeah. And then so just has that, it just has like this kind of like label, how to cook it, right? How many minutes, and then the name of the product, and then like was like the ingredients, right? And then this is the serving size, then consumed by date, and this is a like kind of nutrition fact, right? Kind of like simple version of nutrition fact sheet, right? This is a kind of label like we have to have in Japan, but like it kind of course, like it's different, right, in your country. And it's got like the antioxidant pack in it, right? So that's it, and this is the consumed by date. Just a like a sticker, like just put it on it, like put on the bag. And this is just the logo that they have for their ramen product. And then there's a pack of like condensed soup, right? That you can just dilute with like hot water, right? And then this is the so if like consumers like buy these, right? I mean, they would have to like kind of cook them. They have to cook them by themselves, right, at home. So they have like this cooking instruction, right? And then, well, some of the like ingredients that they need, like maybe like kind of recommend few of the ingredients that they that would be nice to put on the as a topping, right? Like, and then like kind of the picture, right? And this is something else that they have, and then this is like cooking instruction. Like also like do noodle like udon noodles as well, and so this like kind of cooking instruction noodles, right? So like as part of like kind of education at the same time, like kind of providing this kind of instruction, and then it's like kind of menu, like kind of like different like noodle dishes that they could do with these noodles, right? Um, and it's kind of fun to read, these like if you have this sort of like kind of instruction and like kind of um, well yeah, cooking instruction, like it's like as part of education, and like kind of like maybe you could have like some kind of story of your products, like the shop, micro noodle factory, and we could probably talk about like some like culture, like ramen noodles, like Japanese noodles as well, like like as part of like education, like kind of you can like sort of kind of educate the customers about like what's good, what's not, and so you have to be sort of like kind of communicative, like this if you're serving, like if you're selling like ramen noodles, like you have to be you know you have to convey like all these information to the customers, who may be interested in like knowing about it, and they could talk about and like with their family members, and like that's good. That's how like we can that's what we can do to like sort of like make their lives better, and then kind of introduce some kind of food culture, and then kind of well yeah, it's like something else, like something new, something like more like higher quality, right, to their like dinner tables. So yeah. And I want to ask you guys one question before we go. And what is the it's like I just assume like all of you are like kind of thinking about doing this kind of business, or like already in this kind of business, right? And like I want to ask you this question right before we go, and then like I'll be glad to like see your answers in the comments. And the question I want to ask you guys is that like what is the biggest challenge do you think that like to start this business, or to succeed in this business, like in your case, right? I want to ask you, right? And then so if you can answer this question, like please send it in the comments. I'd appreciate it. Okay, and I have some questions. And can plastic bags be reused? If so, how often? So a very good question. And we probably like we probably have to like say like we don't recommend it, because the reason that of course like you could probably guess, but like just well if you have like some kind of like cleaning method or something, like to completely clean the bag after you use it, then you could probably definitely like reuse it, but like if you don't, then like we recommend not to use it. Um, how long would that? I think it's the same. Um, amount of like time that you know, if you do the well, if you do the if you put in the, like this kind of a plastic container, it's like it's as of like 1 week, up to 1 week. Okay. So that's all the questions we have.